Yeah, this game's gonna be really short. I'm not gonna do speedrun stuff because I don't know. I know people get weird about doing speedrun stuff and is doing well, I'm not gonna do glitches and skips and stuff, you know. I'm gonna do speedrun movement for sure, because I mean that's the fastest way to beat the game. Other than skips and glitches, but people get weird about it, you know. And I'd rather just avoid anyone saying anything, because say I do end up beating 100 games. I don't want anyone coming at me saying, well, this doesn't count or this doesn't count, you know. So I still don't know much about what the rules are going to be, what's going to like be the best way to handle certain circumstances or whatnot, but I'm just not going to be doing skips and glitches, but I would prefer to because it'd be faster. And like some things, I don't know what exactly would even count as doing a skip or a glitch. Like, can I do the speedrun strats on Inky and Clyde, or not Clyde, but Inky and Pinky? That's not too. It's just momentum, right? That's not. Sure, it's technically not the way the fight was meant to be done, but I'm not necessarily doing anything unintentional. Because in other versions of games, it does bounce you back, but not in this one. Shouldn't I be allowed to do what this version of the game allows me to do? I don't know. That's already 2 minutes in. Already on level 3. I don't even... technically, it's be level 4 if you count Pack Village. But yeah, every time I go to play this game... Okay. I realigned my angle and I still couldn't do waterless. But yeah, every time I start this game, for anything, whether it be to 100% it, to speedrun it, to do something like this, I always forget about Pac-Man, and I regret starting this. Not that I dislike this game at all, I just don't want to do Pac-Man. I don't think anyone wants to do Pac-Man. But yeah, I guess I won't do one cycle Blinky. Even though I prefer to do one cycle Blinky. Oh, but that means no one cycle Whale? Dude. Not that I've ever been consistent at one cycle Whale, but I could at least pull a 2 cycle. Alright, maybe shouldn't play it quite as risky. Yeah. Along with not doing speedrun stuff, that's actually going to be interesting for specifically Rough Trigger. Because I don't know that I know how to beat that game without speedrun strats. Because why would anyone want to play that game without speedrun strats? But I don't know, I think I could figure it out pretty easily. That's not a game I'm looking forward to doing, but it's definitely going to be one that I will do because it's going to be a pretty short one. I could probably do all of Rough Trigger in one day. Even though I really don't want to. But the challenge isn't about what games... Oh, shoot. I autopiloted into be doing wood skip, but I guess for the sake of argument, I'll try not to. But yeah, this challenge isn't about what's fun. It's about what games can I beat quickly enough. To where I can beat a lot in a year. And Rough Trigger is one that I probably can beat pretty quickly. Whereas like a game I have more fun with, like Final Fantasy 12, no way I'm beating that in a day. I'm trying to think, though, how long would Final Fantasy XII actually take? Especially if you did Zodiac Age version, which has the 4 times speed up. That wouldn't take too long, would it? The only thing I would say would be there are some really hard boss fights in the game, specifically the Elder Worm, but technically you don't have to fight the Elder Worm. You can skip the Elder Worm, and that's not a speedrun strat. The game just lets you skip the Elder Worm. There's literally just a way that you can... At least I think there is. I don't know if they changed in Zodiac Age, but in the original at least, you can skip the Elder Worm, and Elder Worm's the only part of the game that I feel like I would actually struggle on. Because even other hard fights like Tiamat or the Tyrant, I don't think are too difficult. I think I can brute force that with a lot of good spells and healing items. But Elder Worm, I don't know if I can do easily. But I wouldn't have to. And it'd just be a question of how quickly can I get everyone's quickenings. Because that's how you beat every fight in the game, is you just spam quickening chains and every fight goes down like super easily. I don't even think I would need to have to really grind unless I'm grinding on license points. And even if I'm grinding on license points, that's not going to take too long, because just when I get to the level where I would start needing quickening chains, all I have to do is set up gambits, and then on 4 times speed, run around the Ester Sand, and just kill a bunch of the easy enemies, and you get 1 license point every time you do that. Every time you kill an enemy. And if you're killing enemies in 1 hit, then you're just running around, kill all the enemies, leave, come back, kill all the enemies. So, depending on how all that would go, on how quickly I can get quickenings, and not having to fight the Elder Worm, then in theory, Final Fantasy XII, Zodiac Age specifically, and obviously using fast forward everywhere, could be a fairly short game. But how short of a game would that actually be? Because even with fast forward, and with knowing where to go, and with being able to beat all the fights instantly with quickening chains, I don't think it's really a short game. I don't think it would be. I almost just did the speedrun strat again, but yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Final Fantasy XII would be I would have to see about it. I'd probably have to get pretty desperate to think I could do Final Fantasy XII. Or to think I should do Final Fantasy XII, rather. I'd have to be getting to that point where I just like don't know any other games, and like my only choices are really hard games I don't know if I'm going to beat, or a longer game that I know I can beat. Even if it takes a few days to beat it instead of beating it in 1 day. But if I had to get down to an RPG that I think I could do in like a day or two, depending on how long I play it for each day, or like 1 to 3 days, even at that point, Final Fantasy XII is not going to be my game of choice. I think something like Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga would be shorter as well. I feel like if I just had enough time that day, I could I feel like I could do Superstar Saga in 1 or 2 days with no issues, whereas I don't know if I can necessarily do Final Fantasy XII that quickly. But I would probably try Final Fantasy XII over, like, Xenoblade or Final Fantasy X or something. And then it also just depends on, maybe there's a shorter RPG than Final Fantasy 12 that I should look into, that maybe I've never played, but there could be other shorter RPGs. Like maybe a Pokemon game is shorter than Final Fantasy 12, even if it's one I've never played before, which I would have to think about Pokemon games. They obviously wouldn't be incredibly short, but they could be somewhat short compared to other RPGs. But definitely I'm not doing, I wouldn't do mystery dungeons. Especially, because the only mystery dungeon game I ever played and beat was Explores the Sky. But that final boss, I don't know if I can do the final boss. Especially because the final boss is like the only boss where the Hunger Seed strat doesn't work. And then, like, see, I don't think Heart Gold's probably the main series Pokemon game I'm most familiar with. But I don't think that's a really good one to do, because that's kind of twice the length of every other Pokemon game, I think. Because you go through both the regions instead of just going through one like you would in other games. So it probably actually would be better to do, like, Fire Red over Heart Gold, even though I've played Heart Gold before and I've never played Fire Red before. And that's just an assumption as well. I don't know, maybe Heart Gold would be a lot shorter than Fire Red. But I don't know. But then, like spin-off Pokemon games could be short. Puzzle League is just Tetris Attack, so that's got to be pretty short. And then I imagine a Poke Park game wouldn't take too long. What other Pokemon spin-offs are there? Like, I don't know how long Battle Revolution would take. I don't know how long, like, the Stadium games would take. Like, I don't know. Other than maybe Puzzle League, which even at that point, I would probably do Tetris Attack, just normal Tetris Attack first. And even before I get to Tetris Attack, I'm probably going to do some Puyo Puyo games. But other than Puzzle League, I think I'm safe with not having to worry too much about Pokemon games for right now. I don't think I'm at that point where I need to start considering any Pokemon game, even spin-offs that may be short, because there still are plenty of really short games to do. And even still, I would say, even if I don't know exactly how long it's going to take, I've never beaten Pokepark Wii. You know, so a game like that, I would, instead of doing Pokepark Wii, a game that may be short, but I have no experience with, I don't know how long it would take, I would rather do something that, even if it may not be the shortest game ever for me to do, I at least kind of know what to expect. So I would rather do something like a Mario Sunshine or a KO2 than Pokepark Wii for right now. But obviously, I mean, after, if I've already done, did I skip the Reveral chain? Oh well. I guess if I don't want to do speedrun strats for this, I'm going to have to more consciously think about what the speedrun strats are and which ones are okay to do, which ones aren't, because I've found myself, found myself quite often just autopiloting and doing the speedrun strats. I mean, obviously that's how I'm used to playing this game. I don't know how often I play this game without speedrun strats. Even if I'm going for 100%, which I don't speedrun 100%, I'm obviously still doing the Clyde strats. I'm still going for one cycle whale. Yeah. Obviously, we're only like 1.5 games in so far, so I don't really need to be thinking too much about what games I'm going to have to do in the future, but I do think it's going to be sooner rather than later when I get to the point where I don't know what games to do. Or I have to start playing games that I don't know how long they're going to take. Because I don't play a large variety of games. More recently, I've been trying to beat a lot of games casually, but I went through so long where I just wouldn't play new games. I would just play the same, like 3 games over and over. And especially when I got into speedrunning, that was... Obviously, at that point, I was just playing the same games over and over. So... yeah, there's a... probably not going to be as many games as I would hope or that I would want to, you know, be able to know that I could beat it super quickly. But I don't know. I'll just have to use whatever resource I can find on what would be a short and easy game to do. Whether it's based on, like, just what I've heard, what other people tell me. Even if I just have to, like, get on how long to beat and just look for the shortest games. Of which the types of games I'm going to do is another thing. I'm not doing Flash games. And I'm not doing ROM hacks. I know technically you could argue those are separate games. And for the most part, I would agree that, you know, a Flash game is still a game. A ROM hack is separate from the original game, for the most part. I mean, something like just texture hack, obviously, isn't going to be different to classify as being different, but you know, for the most part, I would agree. But if we count Flash games and if we count ROM hacks for this challenge, then this devolves into how many Flash games and ROM hacks can I beat in a year? Because there could just be some really short ones, and then I wouldn't play. I wouldn't be playing like Pac-Man World 2 or Punch-Out Wii or anything. I would be looking for, like, what Flash games can I beat in, like, 3 minutes? What ROM hacks have only... what, like, Mario 64 or Mario World ROM hacks have, like, 1 or 2 levels, and I just do those. So those aren't going to count. And then I'm also going to try and not, like, look for just... like poorly made Steam games and just try and buy as many of those as I can to do. I do have Steam games and I will be doing Steam games, even some kind of obscure things like I'll be doing, or I don't know if I'll do Fancy Skulls, but I'll do Box Life, I'll do Suppressed Dead Ninjas, maybe what are some other games that I have like that? I don't know, but I'll be doing some of those. You know, because, I mean, well, some of those are just well-made games. Suppressed Dead Ninjas is just a good game, you know. That's not... And because those are games that I would be doing because I already have them. I would be searching out short Steam games and only doing them because they're really short and maybe poorly made. So... I'm not going to, like, search out just poorly made Steam games and then, again, this devolve into how many poorly made Steam games can I beat in 1 year? But if I already have them, and I know they're short, then I'll go ahead and do them. Because I already have them. You know, I didn't get them for this challenge. I just already happen to have them. I think it's only been 20 minutes. I'm already on VP. That's pretty good. Although, dang it, if I'm not doing speed stress, that means I just have to straight up do VP. I think during Pac-Man I actually will probably see if at least on Liquipedia if I can check on how I Am Dallas is going. The Heroic Maz game has to already be over. Last I checked it was 1-1 going into Ancient. So, and that was right before I started Punch-Out, so definitely that game's got to already be over. I'm really hoping for a heroic win. But I don't know. On a stage, you can never really tell how heroic's gonna do. I think the game I'm more interested in is the FaZe versus Ents. Because you just never know how FaZe is going to do. You never know how Ents is going to do. Ents can sometimes just look like the best team in the world, and then FaZe sometimes looks like the worst team in the world. But FaZe has looked pretty strong recently. Compared to, like, their, how they had been before. I guess I'll do this part normally, even though I would like to just use the Chrome Ball to damage boost through, but I just don't know if I even have enough Chrome Ball to make it through. I probably did, but whatever. Why am not 100%ing this game? I did 100% this game again fairly recently. And since I'm not 100%ing it, I don't have to worry about the Galaxian, which is the only part of this level I wouldn't really want to do, and the only part of most levels I wouldn't really want to do, just because that would take a lot longer. Yeah, I don't know. If I beat this soon, I don't know if I'm gonna... Or I should still have time. What time is it? It's only 4. Yeah, I should beat this in enough time to have more time to do stuff, and I just don't know if I have another Wii or GameCube game that I could guarantee that I could beat today. Like, maybe. I maybe could do Mario Party 8. Depends on if the AI wins or not. I might be able to do KO. I don't think I could do Mario Sunshine. I might be able to do Crash Nitro Kart, because do you just have to beat the races in Crash Nitro Kart? Do you need to do any of the relics or tokens? If you don't need to do any of those, then that's just what? Like 12, 16 races, and that would just be it. Other than like cutscenes and stuff, but some of the cutscenes might be skippable. Did I ever 100% Nitro Kart? I think I did. Wait, do you have to... Oops. I almost did room skip. Which I really wish I could do room skip. Slide skip's fine if I don't do, because I'm not 100%ing the game, so... I don't have to worry too much about dying on the slide, because I just get down the slide. You can just rev roll down most of them anyway. But I definitely would have preferred to do room skip. And I guess like the back dot chain, I really don't need to, but I mean I kind of want to. Oh, this doesn't even, that just takes you to the token, that doesn't even take you to the button. Well, another thing is if I start a game today that I can't beat, do I want to finish it immediately tomorrow? Do I want the first thing I do tomorrow to be finish a game that I already started, you know? And especially if, at that point, would I be getting back into the situation I'm in now? The reason I want to stick to Wii and GameCube games is because my Wii's already hooked up. If I were to do a game on a different console, because there'd be some ones that I know would be extremely sure on other consoles, right? If I do PlayStation 2, Rough Trigger is going to be pretty short. That one might be a little longer than I'm thinking it would be. That might be like a 3 to 4 hour one. Possibly, because I wouldn't be doing the speedrun strats, and some of those levels can be quite long. It would just be the Fat Pig Lot level. That would be the level, which is like, what, level 11 or 12? That'd be the one I would think would just take so much longer than it would than doing the speedrun strats, whereas like level 7 could as well, because you skip the whole level of level 7 in the speedrun. There's nothing you do legit in level 7. Can you just make it down there? I thought not, but I had to try. But yeah, Rough Trigger would be pretty short. Actually, what else is short on PS2? The first Sly Cooper could be fairly short. The first Jack and Daxter could be fairly short. First Tasmanian Tiger could be fairly short. Pac-Man World 1 would be pretty short, but I may want to just do repack. Because even though I think, even without doing speedrun strats, I think the original version of World 1 would technically be shorter. Because you just have faster movement in the original Pac-Man world. Especially if you zigzag. But okay. I guess I won't do the double bounce, but oh gosh, this is gonna be such a long fight without doing the speedrun strats. Okay. Hit the glass, please. Oh, I didn't know he was gonna just do it in front. Alright, but then I guess he's gonna go over here anyway. But let's see, what other PS1/PS2 games would be short. Because, like, I think maybe the first Croc game could be short, but I've never beaten the first Croc. What if there's, like, an extremely difficult level and I just don't know how to beat it? I wouldn't know how to do... So, I wouldn't entirely know how Croc would go. What other PS2 games could be short? Maybe I don't have that many PS2 games that could be short. PS1 or PS2 games. There's got to be something. I'm just not thinking of one. Maybe it's more so original Xbox I'm thinking of that would have the really short games. Okay. I'm probably actually going to die. But original Xbox would have Battle for Bikini Bottom would be a really short one. Crash to Insanity would be really short. Wrath of Cortex would be really short. Metal Gear Solid 2 honestly should not be very long. I've played that game enough. I know what all the solutions to everything is, so I could get through that no problem, I think, even on normal difficulty. Especially if it's just normal difficulty, then that shouldn't be too long. What else would be short on OG Xbox? I could just do the Xbox version of Pac-Man World 3. I don't think I need to bother trying to set it up on PC. Which I should do PC games at some point too. I probably won't do any of them today, but there's some super short PC games I'll be able to do. But Pac-Man World 3 is kind of in that same boat as Rough Trigger, where if you do the speedrun stuff, it's not a very long game, but it could be quite a bit longer. If you don't do the speedrun stuff. But I think I'm familiar enough with Pac-Man World 3 that I could get through it pretty comfortably without the speedrun stuff, whereas Rough Trigger, I don't know how really familiar I am with each level without doing speedrun stuff. I mean, just off the top of my head for Rough Trigger, level 1, there used to be no speedrun strats. It took quite a while for me to find a lot of the fast things in level 1 anyway, so that should be fine. Level 2 has had a skip since before I started looking into the game, so I don't know that I've ever done that one part of that level normally. Level 3 is an auto-scroller, kind of. It's not really an auto-scroller, but there's no real speedrun strats. It's just do the level. Level 4 I know how to do. That was another one that took a while to get some speedrun strats. Same with level 5. I should be fine on those. Level 6 is a boss fight. Level 7 I don't know, because that's another one where there's been a skip just like the whole time. And then level 8, what's level 8? Level 8's not the next bike level, is it? Oh, it's a cave. That's really going to be the part that's like a make or break the whole playthrough. Because I would need to be grinding on tokens before then if I'm not doing the speedrun strats. And if you... Because you need tokens to get better weapons in Rough Trigger. And there's one part in Rough Trigger where you, in level 8 specifically, where you need a sniper rifle. I'm pretty sure, at least. This was when I looked at it before I found the skip for it. I've not looked into this since getting that, but I'm pretty sure they want you, and you kind of need to have a sniper rifle by that point in the game. If you don't have the sniper rifle, it's almost impossible to actually beat the fight. Or not beat the fight, but to actually progress. Unless if you do a skip. But if I'm not doing speedrun stuff, then I would have to do that part normally, which means I would have to grind on tokens to make sure I can get the sniper rifle before that point. Because even when I first started trying to figure out the Rough Trigger speedrun, there were only a few skips, right? I don't think level 1 had any skips. Level 2 had 2 skips. And I don't think level 4 or 5 had any skips. I don't think so, at least. Maybe there was 1 or 2. Maybe some of the boss skips I had known I'd already found in level 4. But... even then... when there were like almost no skips, there were only 2 skips in level 2. And then level 7 had a lot of skips. I think most of the skips in level 7 I found pretty quickly or were already found before I started looking into it. And even with only those few skips, like you pretty much skip the entirety of level 7 and then you skip maybe half of level 2. And even with that, and just going through and not worrying about any of the fights and not worrying about how many tokens you're getting, you can't afford to get or you don't have the sniper rifle unlocked by the time you get to level 8. And if you don't have the sniper rifle unlocked by level 8, I guess you're just screwed. I don't know what they were thinking when they made it to where you need the sniper rifle. Did they just assume everyone is going to do it? Did they not think maybe some people aren't going to have this by the time they get here and have to just restart the game? But I mean, there's technically you can do it without the sniper rifle if you get the rocket launcher, but you're not guaranteed to be able to beat that if you get the rocket launcher. And even then, the more and more skips that were found, the less and less tokens you have. So you may not even be able to get the rocket launcher. I mean, I think by the time you get with the current route and all the speedrun strats in Rough Trigger currently, I think you only get enough, you just barely get enough to even get the rocket launcher, which is the 4th thing you get from tokens, I think. So if there was no way to skip getting the point where you need a sniper rifle in Rough Trigger, the whole run would be different up to that point. You would have to do some, not grinding, but you would have to purposefully go slower in some areas to make sure you got enough tokens. And I'm really glad I just found a way to skip it, because I don't want to have to purposefully go slower to get tokens or purposefully not do the cool skips that were found just to get tokens. But that's going to be a point where I don't know how that's going to go if I were to do Rough Trigger without speedrun strats. Would I have to purposefully take my time and make sure I'm killing all the enemies and rescuing some of the piglots to get enough tokens to be able to get the sniper rifle before level 8. Because then if I don't have the sniper rifle before level 8, then what happens is I either have to get the rocket launcher and hope it lines up well to where I can beat it, because you're not supposed to do that part with the rocket launcher. It's just kind of possible to do it if you get lucky with certain things. And then if I can't do it with the rocket launcher, then what? I just restart the whole game? Level 8 is pretty far into the game, all things considered. I think it's technically the halfway point of the game, because I think there's 16 levels in the game total. So it's technically the halfway point in the game. And if I have to restart halfway through the game, that's just gonna be a nightmare. I don't want to do that. So Rough Trigger is probably actually not quite as good of a game as I thought it was gonna be for this challenge. I was thinking Rough Trigger was just gonna be what I would do probably fairly soon, actually, but I'm starting to rethink that. I don't think I'm going to be doing Rough Trigger anytime soon, honestly. I would probably honestly do something like, games I'm less familiar with, like Jak and Daxter, or yeah, I'm, games just like Jak and Daxter that I'm not as familiar with, but I still think I could beat it fairly quickly. I think I would prioritize some of those over Rough Trigger just because of the sniper rifle thing. Which honestly shouldn't be too bad. I will probably do Rough Trigger in this challenge. There probably will come a point where I think my best option is Rough Trigger over other games. But as of right now, I think I just have so many better options than Rough Trigger, and I'm going to exhaust those before I feel like I have to do Rough Trigger. That's another thing, is I don't have to forcefully do the best or the fastest games first, right? It's 365 days. I don't have to prioritize necessarily doing all the fastest games first. Obviously, I don't want to have, like, say there's 30 games that I think are all really short. I don't want to wait until there's 3 days left and feel like I have to do 30 short games in 3 days because I spent all my time doing longer games. But at least right now, today is day 1. There's 364 days left after this. Depending on, I guess, kind of when it actually ends. I guess I didn't think about that. Does it end... Is June 2nd or June 3rd the last day? Because today is June 3rd, and that's the first day. So, does the challenge end as soon as it becomes June 3rd again? Or do I have the entirety of June 3rd, 2024 to do more games? I guess it depends. If I'm in the title, I'm doing, day 1. It would just be the last day would be day 365. Doing it a full year in terms of days rather than the calendar is probably what it's going to end up being. But, I mean, I don't have to think about that, really, because we're not anywhere near the final day. It's still day 1. But, yeah, it's just going to be when... So, like, right now I can do some, like, medium to long games. I still want to, like, prioritize games I can finish before I'm done streaming today. Of which we're very close to being done with this game. I guess the only thing is not being able to do Ghost Bayou skip. But I know Ghost Bayou well enough to... I'm pretty sure I can beat the level without Ghost Bayou skip. I can do it fairly easily. The only problem is sometimes it's actually so easy to sequence break and Ghost by you. I do it by accident. If I do a glitch by accident, I'm not going to count that as... Hey, Pinball Wiz. What's going on? Yeah, I haven't been around in a while. I'm trying to get back into things. Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't been around. I had some things on my mind, some anxieties and whatnot about being around, and I'm slowly working towards trying to figure things out. Plus, been busy with college and stuff, so yeah. I mean, that's pretty much just why I haven't been around. Been busy, been trying to figure some things out. That's just it. But I'm at least back to streaming for now, because this is a project I've wanted to do for a while. And just seeing how this year is going to go, this is my best chance to do it. So I'm going to just go ahead and do it. Which obviously will take time a lot out. It's a whole year project. So obviously it's going to take out most of my time. I probably won't be back to speedrunning or anything during this time. But speedrunning is the eventual goal, to get back into that. Especially, I got a few goals for speedrunning that I do want to do. I want to definitely get back to Rough Trigger. There's some skips in that game that have to be possible that I just haven't been found yet. And a sub 110 is possible. Or no, is it just 110 is possible? I don't know. I don't remember. But so that's possible. And I want to get that. I gotta get my Star Stacker world records back. I gotta get back into Rally. I don't know what's been happening with Rally recently. Because again, I've been out of the loop for a bit. But I gotta get back to it at some point. Yeah, before anything speedrunning can happen again, I'm gonna mostly focus on this project. I might come back to Rough Trigger for just like a tiny bit in between, just because I think Rough Trigger could be... I think the next goal for Rough Trigger, which is either a sub 110 or it's a 110, I think I can do that pretty easily. Yeah, luckily with this project, though, I still will be doing quite a bit of Pac-Man, because there's a lot of quick Pac-Man games. This is not even anywhere near the shortest Pac-Man game I can do. I've just now... I'm starting to remember all the really short Pac-Man games there are I can easily knock out. I might, after this, just set up the Xbox and just start doing some of the arrangement games, because Pac-Man arrangement is going to be really short. Obviously, the GBA version is probably shorter, but that's going to be around same time. Championship Edition 2. You have to get all the stars to do Championship Edition 2, don't you? I still haven't done that. I am missing like 3 stars, I think. I don't think I'd be able to do Championship Edition 2 right now. I mean, unless if you... No, but you do need all the stars, right? To get to the final boss. 80% is like a 30-minute run. What's the definition of any percent for Championship Edition 2? Yeah, getting to the final boss is what I'm struggling with right now. And I haven't been doing attempts recently. But... yeah, let's see. And just until 614? Yeah, so that wouldn't be all the stars. So I'd have leeway on some of the harder levels. Which I do think all I'm... There's got to be some sort of strategy I don't understand about Championship Edition 2, which is why I struggle with it. There's got to be something I'm not understanding about the game, and I've been meaning to see if I could look up, like... I mean, because I know you probably have just, like, videos of, like, getting S rank on all the score attacks, and obviously you have your runs. So I've been meaning to, like, actually just look at those and just see what are you doing differently than I am, and seeing if that helps me improve at the game. But yeah, if any percent's definition is only to get to 614, then yeah, Championship Edition 2 would be one to do. I just don't know if there would be also a definition for any percent Championship Edition DX. Because I'm more familiar with DX than I am 2. Well, I guess at this point I probably am more familiar with 2. But I've probably played Championship Edition 2 longer at this point. But depending on what you would technically count as beating Championship Edition 1. Or DX, rather, not Championship Edition 1. That might also be a game to do. Then as far as other short Pac-Man games go, Miss Pac-Man Quest for the Golden Maze is really short. That's like 20 minutes. Both versions of Arrangement are really short. The original and the 2005 version. The X is all time trials? Oh yeah, that'd definitely be short. A lot shorter than... if you're not going to do any of the score attacks. But then if I can also remember how to do Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures, that's a really short game. But only if I can remember how to beat it, because if you don't know how to beat that game, then good luck beating it. 20 to 25 minutes? Yeah. That'd definitely be a short one to do. Though, not for right now. I'm not doing PC games quite yet. Need to figure out some stuff. This setup is new to me for streaming and stuff. I don't know how PC games are going to go quite yet, so I'm going to stick to console for a bit. And for the sake of argument about, you know, what's considered beating a game, I'm not doing, like, at least not, like, intense glitches and skips for this challenge, so that means doing Ghost Bayou normally. which honestly shouldn't be too bad. I've ran 152 and 100% of this game a few times. I should generally know how Ghost Bayou goes. The only problem is I might accidentally sequence break. It is so easy to sequence break in this level that I often do it by accident. Or in this level, rather, not in this game. Pac-Man All-Stars is another short Pac-Man game. If you count just like getting credits as beating a Pac-Man or beating a game in general, then all you have to do for Rally is beat all the cups, including the Rally Cup. And that's like an hour run. That'd be pretty short. I don't think I can do that right now because I don't actually have a console version of Rally. Which way do you go at this point? I think you just go this way. Okay, I didn't know if this was going to be a problem, but I'm definitely going to have to up the brightness on, I think, Amarak. Because that's pretty dark. That might be hard to see. And I know getting to... If this level being too dark is a problem, then I'm going to have to fix it before... I probably won't fix it today. I'll just try and pick brighter games. But I will have to fix it because some games, especially like Rough Trigger, is just going to be so dark. Like, wouldn't be able to see the entire game. I had another, on my old setup, I had the settings figured out to where it wasn't so dark, but looks like it's a problem again, so I'll need to do that. But yeah, I'll still have quite a bit of time after I'm done with this game. No sub 1 hour, but yeah, I mean, that makes sense without doing speedrun strats. And I'm not going to risk that, actually. But yeah, I guess I'll still have to... Oh, is that where you're supposed to go? Okay. I thought we were just going to go back to the teleporter. We should probably start thinking of what game am I going to do next. Do I want to do another GameCube Wii game, or do I want to set up the Xbox and try and do something? Wait. Where am I going? I guess I'm going this way, and that's going to connect to the rest of the level. Well, the easy way would just be to sequence break it, but I guess I won't do that. That's gonna lead to the end, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I did any sequence breaks. I think this is legitimately how you're supposed to beat the level. Oh wait, am I supposed to go over there? Wait. Oh, I guess you are. Okay. I forgot, if I'm not sequence breaking, then I can't just rev roll to that end platform. I would have to do this part normally as well. Oh, hey Ian LC. Yeah, this is not Pac-Man World 3. I am not anywhere near ready to get back to speedrunning Pac-Man World 3, but it's an eventuality. I will be back to speedrunning Pac-Man World 3. Just not right now. I need to... They don't want me to jump here? I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I had some weird issues with control in World 3. I need to see if it was like... Was it my controller that was making it feel weird? Or... Was it my controller that felt weird, or what, did I just never get used to it? But I don't know. I mean, for this challenge I'm doing, which is to see how many games I can beat in a year, is just something I came up with that I thought would be interesting to do. And it's going to be my best chance to do it. But Pac-Man World 3 is not going to be too long to do, even if I'm not doing speedrun stuff. I could just... I mean, I'm almost done with this. I just have the spooky fight left. I could just straight up... I'd have to set up my Xbox, but I could just straight up do Pac-Man World 3 after this. Yeah, my thing was the stick as well. It's like it just... To me, it felt weird to... Like, when starting a rev roll, it's like hard to get started control of aiming Pac-Man is what I was having issues with. Not to say that's the full reason I stopped running, but there was a wide variety of reasons that I stopped running World 3. And I wouldn't even say stopped. I was it's always just been a break. I've always had intentions to come back. Yeah, I don't know. I just have to look into it, because it definitely just could be the controller I was using was the problem. I don't know. It might be really good to just straight up do World 3 after this on the Xbox and see if I still have that issue. Because that just could be the game, right? I could just need to get used to that to do well at the game, right? Because obviously every game's not going to be perfect. That's one thing I like about speedrunning, is you have to move within the limitations of games. So if the controls feel weird and that's just how the controls feel, then you just got to get used to the controls. But if it is my controller, then I would want to fix that and make sure that that's not the problem. Because I think before I would use a PS1 controller, actually, that I hook up through USB to a PS3 adapter, which definitely could be the issue. It could just be that's not a great control method. I feel like it's worked well for other games, but that could just straight up be the issue. But I don't know. I have more control options available now. That I could try PS5 controller, I could try Xbox One controller, I could try a legitimate PS3 controller instead of... Because I know Woofer used a I'm pretty sure Woofer used a PS3 controller. Which I think I tried, but I was always using a third-party PS3 controller. I don't think I was ever using a first-party PS3 controller. So I don't know, maybe new controllers would just be better for the game, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm already doing World 2. Okay. I don't know if I'd be able to finish World 3 today, but I could at least start it. World 3 shouldn't be too bad to do. I mean, in a way, it would be... Obviously, I would be playing Pac-Man World 3 at that point. But... I don't know. I kind of don't hate World 3 as much as I used to. And the reason I don't hate World 3 as much as I used to is because I've played worse games since then. Speedrunning Rough Trigger really made me appreciate Pac-Man World 3 because Rough Trigger is just such a worse game. But yeah, that's Pac-Man World 2. Second game done.